Hello YouTube, this is DZ Maven once again with another Gunpla review, and today I'm going to be looking at I guess you'd call it a follow-up to the RG Strike Gundam, but not quite. This is still a new kit. Yes, this is the Build Strike Gundam from the Gundam Build Fighters. So this is the lead suit made by Sei Iori, a customized Strike Gundam specifically for his use in the Gundam battles. And so let's take a look at it right here. And there it is, up on an action base with the build booster attached on the back. And I got the accessories for it arrayed down here on the base here. And off to the side here is the original RG Strike Gundam here, just for comparison. So let's start talking details here. And get that. There we go. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this kit here. This is actually a relatively new kit. Came out, I believe it was December 2016, so just a few months ago. So it's still very new. It's currently the newest real grade at the time of making this video here. The next real grade is the gold frame Amatsu, which won't be coming out till next month, I believe, in March. So, talking about the details here of this kit here, it's very similar to the original RG Strike Gundam, which I gave a score 10 to. This is also going to get a score 10. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat here. It does retain much of the same sort of level of detail as the original RG Strike Gundam. Maybe not quite to the full extent, but I think it balances out a little better on the build strike here. It does retain the color separation of the whites. You do get a white, and you do get a off-shade white. And you still got that third shade of white and still on this kit here, kind of right in those arms right there. I think that might be the only spot where that is, but it still retains some of that here. So, and it also has the two shades of red. It's only in the cockpit hatch. Blues, I think it's just one shade of blue. I really haven't seen any color variation on this, so. But, I mean, it looks pretty good overall here. An interesting note here is it does come with these clear blue transparent parts that are on the kit here. It's an interesting touch. You got them on the legs here and on the arms here, and there's a little bit on these ankle armor here. What's interesting about this here, though, is that it does have the same metallic detail stickers that the Strike Gundam has, but these are kind of in I want to call them, they're kind of like a black metallic color. They're not silver or gold like some of the other real grade detail up stickers are. They're kind of unusual. I mean, I think they're okay looking, but I think the one issue I seem to have is that they put them underneath the clear blue, and I don't really think that they look very good underneath the clear blue, clear blue pieces, because it kind of makes it look kind of black almost. But I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could put silver under there and highlight it up a little better. The only exception is the ones in the shoulder have some gold, gold behind them, so they kind of stand out a little bit better to me. But so yeah, that's kind of it for the detail. Same with the weapons. The weapons are all nicely detailed. There's a lot of detail on the beam cannon extension here, which I really like too. So moving on to articulation here. As you probably might expect, it's going to be about the same as the original Strike Gundam here. Let's stop that and take a closer look here as we try and bend a few things here. So get a good look here. Again, this is going to have relatively the same level of articulation as Strike Gundam, so there's really nothing too surprising here. Arms will bend up pretty far, actually. I'd say you get the same double bend out of the elbow. That little forearm piece will slide back a little bit. Torso, you'll move around. I do want to make a note about the build booster on the back. This does kind of weigh the suit down a little bit, so it will tend to bend backwards a little bit because of this here. So if you have it up on an action base stand, you might want to lean it forward just a little bit here. If it's straight up, it's going to end up leaning back a little bit. The back is not quite strong enough to hold the build booster up. Down to legs, I mean the skirt armor is kind of the same deal. The only real difference here I do kind of want to point out here is the side skirts here on this. Now, if you remember back to my RG Strike Gundam review, I kind of mentioned that the side skirts tend to fall off the Strike Gundam a lot. Bandai tried to fix that apparently on this kit here by incorporating this large sleeve that wraps around the connection point. It works, but the problem is that you've now got this big piece that's underneath the side skirt, so the side skirts can never stay flat and flush against the body, so they're always kind of sticking out a little bit. They do really stick out when you start bending the legs around. So they kind of fixed one problem and kind of created another problem with that. But I mean, I guess at least Bandai tried to correct that here. Legs, this knee armor is bigger than the Strike Gundam knee armor, but it still bends the same way. You still get a nice double bend out of that. And these pieces inside the leg, they'll move same as before. Now Bandai did actually make a slight change to the lower leg here on the Build Strike. There's actually an extension piece that's in here. It's kind of hard to see, but that's it right there. That's not a part on the original RG Strike Gundam. That's an extension piece that was added on to this. It kind of makes the suit slightly, ever so slightly taller than the original Strike Gundam. There is a problem though, is that this piece does tend to get a little loose. You bend it around too much, the foot comes off. So it's not a very strong connection. It's just a socket. That's all it is, and it does kind of come loose after a while if you do some posing with this. Moving on to the back, the build booster, these little rail cans, they'll move around. They'll swing around up under the arms. They have this long extension thing that's a little complicated to work out. But it works. You have to kind of play around with it a few times to kind of get used to the way it works here. Wings, they'll move back and forth like this, and only this part of the wing kind of moves. It'll move back if it needs to. These little individual wing pieces, these are all just one part. This is not individual wings. Like, I mean, when I kind of saw this kit originally, I kind of thought it was going to be like the Freedom Gundam, where these would all move around, but they don't. They're just all one piece here. That's it. And these boosters can sort of collapse and open back up a little bit again on the back here. So you have all that. Cockpit will open up the same way as the original Strike Gundam. It's a little harder to open on this one for some reason, because I have a really hard time getting this top piece to come open. It's like really stuck in there, but it will open up. You got eventually you can get it out and pop the lower piece down. And there's no pilot figure as usual for most real grades on this. So articulation is pretty good on this kit. You can do a lot of nice posing with it. You don't really have much of any parts falling off except for maybe the feet now and then if you pose them too much, but it's really not that bad. So articulation, it gets a score of 9 out of 10 from me, which I think was the same as the original Strike Gundam. So it improved. It fixed one thing, but there are kind of some new problems were created with the kit, so it kind of balances out. So it's the same as the Strike Gundam. So extras, move on to that. We do obviously get the build booster, which is a pretty nice extra. It transforms into a fighter mode. I'll show you a picture of that right here so you can see what it looks like. There's also, you can attach that to the action base stand if you need to, and have it in flight mode if you want. Besides that, you get some pretty nice weapons here. The standard weapon is this little sort of derpy looking beam gun that the Build Strike starts out with here. You get that, and eventually you got the rifle attachment extension. I kind of like the way these weapons work. They kind of just, it's a modular weapon system. You kind of just stick this into the front, and then this piece slides back and flips on. And now you have a beam rifle for the Build Strike Gundam. Pretty neat. Now you also get this giant beam cannon attachment. And in order to use this, it pretty much is roughly the same thing here. You got to take the rifle attachment off. And in this, you need to slide that out, set it up, stick the beam gun in there. This wraps around the back. Sure it's in there, and then push it forward, lock it in place, and now you have a giant beam bazooka handgun thing, sort of. Now the Build Strike, it can hold the beam pistol and the beam rifle without any problem. The beam cannon, it starts to have a little bit of trouble holding this, and the arm will start to droop if it tries to hold this out at extension, so just a fair bit of warning there. It also has this side support handle, you can hold it two-handed if you want to, like that. In addition to that, you also get this called a Chobam shield. It's okay. It has the same attachment on the back that the original shield uses, so it's just that little plug thing. Goes onto the back of the forearm. It's not really a perfect fit, I would say. Get this on here just to show you here, because you got this piece sticking on the side of the forearm, so it doesn't really lay flat against the arm, so kind of gets in the way a little bit. That back. But the interesting thing about this is that you can stick these extra weapon parts on the shield here. This rifle extension will slot into a little slot and be stored right there. And this beam cannon extension piece let me get it out of here. There we go. Beam cannon extension piece is supposed to be stored on the front of the shield, like so. If you put all this stuff on the shield, obviously it's going to start to droop off the arm. It's a lot of mass here, so again, just kind of some fair warning about that here. And you do get your beam sabers. They are stored on the side skirts of the Build Strike, and you get your two beam sabers. They fit into the hands okay. The pegs are a little bit tight in my opinion, but they fit. Now here's an interesting new thing you get with this kit. You actually get a different set of closed fists with this kit. I don't know if you can see it there, but they're kind of curled up in a much tighter looking fist there, and they actually kind of have a shape to them. But yeah, these are different from the normal fist you get with the Strike Gundam, which are kind of a flat fist. These are kind of angled to look a little different, I guess. This would be like for some of the I guess they call it the RG fist attack or something in the show. I guess if you want to do that. And you got your trigger handle for holding the guns, and you get your really tiny, very tiny Sei Iori figure there, who I suspect is holding a 144 figure of the Build Strike in his hand there, which would probably make that the smallest Gundam model ever. Right there. So it's a 144th and a 144th kit. So you go ahead and do the math at how small that is. So extras, it gets a 9 out of 10 from me. So again, they're all pretty good here. They may have a few fitting issues, but overall I think the quality of the extras here is pretty good here. And you get a lot of nice stuff to work with here and pose with and all. So it's pretty good. So last thing here is the value of this kit here. This is it's a very new kit, so like I mentioned before, it came out in December 2016. It retails for 2,500 yen, which is the standard price for real grades, so that's about $22 depending. Price will vary depending where you get it, but the way it is, it's with all the extras and it's a good quality kit. I think it's a very good deal here, so it gets a 9 out of 10 on the value here, so pretty good buy. Especially next to the Strike Gundam, which which is also a good buy. I believe I may have given that also a 9 out of 10. So that brings me to the end here, which the total is going to be 37 out of 40. Actually scores 1 point more than the original RG Strike Gundam real grade here. So, it's a pretty good kit. So if you haven't got one, it'd probably be worth it to pick it up. If you interested in this at all. So, and probably in the last side note here, in case you haven't noticed, I do include image galleries of the photos I take of my kits. They're usually in the description of the videos here. For this one here, I think you might want to take a look at it here, because you can put the striker packs from the RG Strike on the build strike. And I kind of tried that out a few times, and you can see the results of that in my photo gallery. In addition, you can kind of see what the build booster looks like on the RG Strike Gundam as well here. So anyway, I hope you found that review interesting here. Give a like if you found this entertaining, informative, you liked it in general. More videos will be coming soon, so be sure to subscribe so you can catch those. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, leave some comments if you have any questions about anything. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that review, and I hope to see you again next time. Have a great day, and bye-bye.